Hey guys, Frank here, your virtual general aviation aviator, and today I am in the mall by VSKYLABS. Let's see if you can see it sitting on a drying tarmac in Greensboro, North Carolina. So the plan today is to fly this Maule, which is a STOL aircraft. STOL stands for short takeoff and landing, to Lake Ridge Aero Park in Durham. Now, Lake Ridge Aero Park is an airport with a 3,200-foot grassy runway. So this aircraft should be perfect for that mission. All right, so let's get in and take a look around the aircraft. So yeah, here we are. This is the Maule M7. It sports a Lycoming IO, not the IO, but the Lycoming O540B engine, and it has 235 horsepower. That didn't sound quite right. 235 horsepower. But yeah, I guess that's right. Okay, so yeah, the aircraft is by VSKYLABS and it comes with a fairly decent POH. Let me just pull up the POH for you guys. So yeah, the VSKYLABS Maule M7 235B, and you can now you know what the 235 stand for, the horses up under the sky. All right, so this is the POH. It comes in a PDF format, and if you're unfamiliar with this aircraft, then it does give you some ideas on how to familiarize yourself with it. Um, but for my purposes, the biggest thing that I wanted to know was a little bit about getting it going. So it does come with a checklist, which starts on page 19. So yeah, here we are with the start of the checklist. But I am going to jump directly to page 21. The page 19 and 20 deals with the pre-flight inspection, and that's all been done virtually. So yeah, we're gonna go with this checklist here and kind of go through it as we get this aircraft started and on our way to Lake Ridge. All right, so get rid of this guy and jump back in it. And now we'll take a look around the aircraft. Now, it is mostly cloudy, uh, scattered clouds. Partly scattered would be 30 to 50%. But as you can see, the sun is popping in and out, and now I've got direct sunlight. Anyway, this is the Maule, and I gotta say, this aircraft is absolutely gorgeous. You can tell that the the curves are just fantastic. Um, Look at the palette there. Not a bad rendition of a human being, handcrafted in the USA. Okay, so the tail number on, well, this is the default livery for this aircraft, and I didn't see a N number for the tail number, which is common for the United States. So I just decided to go with the default version. But yeah, um, gracious, look at the PBR texturing, and Man, this is gorgeous. This is an aircraft that I don't mind showing you how it looks very close up. You know, some aircraft you look at and you see little flaws here and there, but this one is absolutely gorgeous. And I'm not one of those people who really get off on the amount of details on modeling, but I gotta say this is impressive. Now, one thing that I do like about this aircraft is it is again a STOL aircraft, and one of its missions is backcountry flying. Even though in my neck of the woods there is not a lot of opportunity to do um, backcountry, at least if there is, I've yet to learn about them. But anyway, um, so right now with the mission that I've got, I'm using the small tires, but I can change the size of these tires and put on these huge Alaskan bush tires. In fact, let me just show you how easily that can be done. I just click on the tire and whoa, yeah, that's, I never get so. But yeah, so yeah, I got those big old Alaskan bush tires, and now if I wanted to land on, say, a sand dune or someplace where the terrain is particularly tough, then I can. But at Lake Ridge, even though the runway is grassy, it's well kept. So yeah, so we'll go with our regular wheels, and you can see how it you have to look over the column um, with these bush wheels. So a lot of times, if I was to fly with the bush wheels, I find myself having to do S turns to see out of the window to keep up with where I'm going. Anyway, yeah. So let's get in the cockpit and continue. Okay. So this is the cockpit, and this aircraft comes in two variants. It comes in this steam version or analog variants, and it comes with the Garmin G1000 or a glass variant. So one thing I did find with the glass variant is I get two COM channels, and with this variant, I only get one COM channel. It does come with the AVTAB that can be removed just by clicking here. So yeah, we are pretty much have everything that we need. Let's see, charts. So technically, I could pull up the chart in the AVTAB. I'm sorry, the chat list in the AVTAB. And I do know I want page 19. Not all right. Before starting, that's where I want to be. And in the AVTAB, look like that's page 22. Okay, it's page 21 in the forward sides document. So go figure. All right, and so yeah, let's take a quick look around the cabin here. Um, so the doors do work, and I had not noticed this gauge on the door here. On the let's see, that might be an outside temperature gauge trying to kill the yolk here. There we go. Now, one thing that I have noticed is that the yolk, if you kill the left yolk, you also kill the right yolk. So yeah, I got an outside temperature gauge there in the door, and I've got an outside temperature gauge here on the panel. So yeah, I got two gauges. Um, guess that's a little odd to have redundancy there, but it is what it is, and you can't complain about the redundancy, right? Okay, so this aircraft is a five-place aircraft. It will seat five passengers, but most people tend to take out this back seat and just use it for cargo and make it a four-place um, aircraft. So yeah, you can see the um, the chair in the back here, just behind the captain and co-pilot or passenger in the beside the captain. Anyway, you get the idea. So yeah, let's swing on around and come on down. And yeah, so I think the modeling is immaculate. I mean, it really looked good. Let's see. One thing that I have noticed is um, you, you see, I've noticed the scuff marks here on the metal panel, and I've noticed the dirt on the carpet. But yeah, so so yeah, this aircraft does have carb heat, and fair warning, I tend to forget carb heat when I pour that throttle back. So I have my icing reminder turned on. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And all right, before starting, seat belts and shoulder harness are fastened, flaps are retracted, circuit breakers are not modeled, but they're all in. The circuit breakers are here at the bottom, but again, they're not modeled. And that's a shame because I love it when a developer go that extra step to model the breakers. And for those of us who like to do random failures, then being able to troubleshoot, figure out whether or not you got a pull breaker and push it back in to solve a problem. It's pretty cool. All right, starting. Parking brake and tow brake should be on, and fuel selector should be on the fullest tank. And we're going to open the throttle a quarter of an inch. All right, so parking brake is on. Fuel selector should be on the fullest tank. Um, of course, I would normally need to turn the battery on to see which tank is the fullest. Let's see if that yeah. So yeah. Um, Now, I always wonder why do people do this when they do the checklist, because you would think that you want to turn the battery on first. Well, actually, I guess you can. I'm thinking that you can't see the quantity until you get the batteries on, but actually you can see the quantities without the batteries being connected. So yeah, I guess that's fine. I'm about to make a complaint when it's not justified. All right, well, not really make a complaint, but anyway, you get the point. All right, so throttle should be open a quarter of an inch, and mixture goes to 4 rich, prop goes 4, and let's see, 4 increase for prop, mixture rich, and there are some notes on the next page if the engine is already hot. Okay, collision lights, anti-collision lights should come on which anti-collision means the same as strobe lights. All right, so anti-collision is there. And now we can turn the battery on. Okay, so a quick note here is, all right, so battery can go on. Here we go. All right, battery. And the alternator comes on. And okay, prime is required. And there are some notes on priming. And what I've learned is about 3 to 5 pumps is what this aircraft is recommended for priming, unless of course you've flown it enough and you know what's best. So that was 3. And in all honesty, I don't think the primer is modeled, because I sat here and primed it 20 times just to see if it would start, and it started. Okay, and let's see, mixture is 4 lean. Yeah, we already did that. And starter switch 4 right, and let's see, so mixture 4 lean, and then we'll do the starter 4 right and add mixture as it starts up. Okay, so I want to clear left, clear right. Oh, got one of those exorcist head turns. Clear right, and here we go. Almost forgetting the step. Clear prop. All right. And I want to see on my RPMs about 1,000. Okay, yep, so I'm good. That 1/4 inch. Yeah, okay, so I guess we can see, are we ready to hop to the next page yet? Um, page 23. All right, so alternator check charging. Now, the only way that I've seen in this version to check the charging is to look here at the amperage um, meter. So I guess this is the alternator indicator, and um, it looked like it's neither charging nor discharging. But if I turn the lights on, let's see if I can see any change in turning on the lights. So this is the landing light, and so yeah, when I turn the anti-collision light on, yeah, so I'm seeing a quite a slight change. So yeah, um, it is getting some power. Um, it is tied to the switches, and so yeah, looks like it is charging. All right, now if once you know the aircraft, then you know you wouldn't have to run those type tests. But for me, I am just learning this aircraft. Speaking of which, on the co-passenger side, it does have these pumps that you can turn off and on to pump fuel from the auxiliary tanks. Okay, and alternator check charging, radio, and electrical switches as required. All right, so radio can come on. Well, yeah, do. There we go. Okay, so getting these radios set up, and all right, so this guy can come on, and we'll go ahead and set it to altitude report. ATIS is 128.55, and as I mentioned, we don't have that second radio. See how quickly I missed it. So let me go ahead and get the ATIS. Um, so we're gonna go ahead and make this 5.5. And 121, and make this active.
23 left, 23 right. Advise initial contact. You have information. Uniform.
Uniform.
Piedmont Triad International Information. Uniform. 2010 Zulu. Wind 260 degrees at 5 knots. Visibility more than 10 miles. Rain. Sky conditions. View at 6,500. Temperature 20. Dew point 5. Altimeter 3016. Arriving runway 23 left, 23 right. Departing runway 23 left, 23 right. Advise initial contact. You have information. Uniform.
So enough of that. Now, what's next? Let's get back to our checklist. We got our, okay, yeah, we want to put our frequencies back in. So yeah, so let's go back over here, and um, 121.9 is ground, and 119.1 is tower. All right, so that's on standby now. So I've got a radio panel that I'm able to manipulate with my hands and change these. So yeah, because I just realized you didn't see me changing the dials. All right, and let's go back over here, and let's go back to our checklist. And what's next? Let's see. Uh, After start. All right. Check oil pressure. Done that. And that's page 21. And are we on page 22? I'm not so sure what. Yep. Okay. I had to double check, guys. Now, one thing about this aircraft is it's not good to sit too long with it just idling. That's in the manual. Check charging and right quickly. So I need to move a little faster here. So I got 0, and I'm just going to hit this light to see if it moves. Okay, so it did move a little on. So yeah, that indicates that it is charging. And let's see, check charging radios and electrical switches as required. Parking brake can go off. And this point we would get our departure information. Taxi up at 14.
American 2095, moderate tower, 825. 2095, I'm going to get out numbers in.
So this is what I mean when I say that sometimes you just got to make S turns to be able to see where you are. So I'm gonna overturn so I can take a look out there to acquire my yellow line, or as I like to call it, my brick road. All right, but it is a sim and I get to cheat. So yeah, I need to know where I was going because I do know it's mostly right turns to get me where I need to be. And this was a left. Okay. And look for that yellow line. There it is. I know it's ending. And I know that look over the column a little bit. Remove this guy for a minute. And let's do it. All right, guys. So now it's time for us to do a run up right quickly. Say right quickly, but so I want to make sure that I don't blow fog over the runway. And at this point, let's go ahead and set our parking brake. And remount our tablet, and they call it engine check. Okay, everything is in the green arc, and yep, happy. All right, and let's go ahead and get our altimeter set, which was 3016. Now notice that if I hold down my left click, I can spin this a lot faster than using the mouse wheel. So I can use the mouse wheel for fine adjustments. Mouse wheel. All right, 016. And I notice I don't have a backup altimeter, so that it's important to remember that. But I also want to set my compass, and looks like I'm roughly about 05. Yeah, okay, we'll hold it there and we'll recheck it when we line up. And what else? Let's see. All right, so I want to increase my my throttle to 2000, and then check for the magneto drops. All right, so now there is a note about doing setting it to 2000, because at some points you only want to set it to 1500 as the max. So be sure to check the POH out, guys. All right, so let's check, get on this side, and all right, so check that one, looking good. Check that one, looking good. And now we will power our prop. We don't want to get any lower than 500. That looked good. And check it one more time. Make sure that we're watching the fuel flow and manifold pressure. Don't have any oil on the windshield, so that's a good sign. All right, and now we want to look at our suction. That looked good, and also look at our amps, which I don't have a volt check, but yeah, just want to make sure that I don't see anything crazy there. This is the suction, by the way, in case I didn't point at it. But I knew what I was looking at. All right, so yeah, and power back to about 1,000. All right, see that suction should have went down a little bit. There it is. All right, good deal. So that completes my run up. Almost. Actually, I've done the run up part. Um, I usually like to use cigar, and so let's go ahead and do our controls check. And controls are free and clear and correct. All right. Cigar instruments. Double check on the instruments. Um, this airport is at what, 937 feet. Let's just double check that. 921, and that's about right, within 75. So I'm happy with that. Happy. All right, and let's go back here to charts. Okay, zoom in a little bit. All right, and that was cigar, that was instruments, and then G is gas. Now, after I started it, I should have changed my fuel, because now I got a slight imbalance. I got half here and just under half there. But I'm gonna go ahead and change it to both. The imbalance is not significant enough to be of any concern. All right, and that's why we do the run up, because by doing the run up, I actually caught that. Okay, and so that was the G, and then the A in cigar is for attitude. And let's set this to takeoff, and I am not going to use any autopilot. In fact, another thing, the glass version does have autopilot, and this one does not have autopilot. And I actually didn't realize that to just now. So yeah, I would have flown the glass version just for the autopilot, but it is what it is. All right, so let's get out of here. We've already done the aura for the run up, and clear left, clear right, and switch frequencies to tower. Greensboro Tower, holding short, runway 32, ready to depart VFR to the east. Clear for takeoff, 332. You know, I thought I was going to 1-4, I do believe, but anyway. It's easy to make these errors. It's harder to have good situational awareness in the sim, especially at airports that you're not 100% familiar with. All right, but I've been here before, so shouldn't have made that error. Yeah, okay, flaps, 2 notches, well, long runway, so 1 notch in, and camera, we on 3-2, so let's set this guy to 3-2 now. That's about right. Lights, camera, and action. Full throttle. Little right rudder there. Sixty knots, rotate. Oh wow, it is raining. You're up. Power back to 2500. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Thought for a second there I had to crash the desktop. All right, so the right rudder hold that ball in the middle. And, you know, I have not been managing any lights, so let's get strobe lights on, landing lights can stay off at this point. Go ahead and turn down so and beacon. Well, this aircraft doesn't have a beacon. So, next page. Before takeoff. Okay, so I'm not sure how this is arranged before takeoff. Okay. Oh yeah, you know what I didn't do on my run up? I didn't check my cover. Anyway, guys, 5,500 is my altitude, and let's see, I did not put the flight plan in, but I do know that my destination is going to be RDU, so let's go down that in. Okay. Oh, for that R. Delta. Uniform. All right. You know that activated, and let's see if we get a map. Get out map at just 4:30. Bear with me, guys. I do know the 4:30, at least I think the 4:30 does have a map. Procedure. Fly due north, but you go turn back to the east. There we go. So, and we're going to track that magenta line manually. Now, I'm going to check my EEG, and And I do know I want to bring down my RPMs first. Keep down full of pressure. I am climbing. Yes. And I was actually something I hear Tim thinking it's exhaust gas. And let's go back. All right, so I don't really have an exhaust gas gauge, so I kind of got to listen and maybe consider the manifold pressures. Probably some information on set this up in the manual. But this will be up to our cruise. Get it up. All right. And I am flying and looking into the manual at the same time. Did I get those flaps up? I guess I did. That's a good thing. All right, climbing, ready to climb, 90 knots. So I actually could have been climbing a lot faster than I am. Best angle, 65 knots. I'll have to keep that in mind for next time. But let's go ahead and have an offer at this point. Intercepting this line here on the GPS. Trim some of that bad pressure out. And next stage, STOLs, crosswind landings. Okay. Incidentally, as you can see, this is the early access version of this aircraft. And the other thing that you can see is that when you fly in multitasking, then it's hard to stay focused. At least it is for me, of course. And these guys who do fly these aircraft, they tend to study, to train themselves, to look, to always come back to this six-pack every minute or so. Especially if you have worked on doing some IFR work. All right, so what I do know from real world flying is when you're flying VFR, you generally want to find something to fly toward. The features in X-plane is once you get up, it's so discrete that it's hard to find something sometimes to fly toward. So I know I see this little white spot there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but if I fly towards that may keep me on track. So, and I'm kind of comparing it against my yellow line. I mean, my magenta line. Yellow lines for that great road. All right, so I reached my cruise altitude. So I'm going to pull back a little on this stuff. All right. RPM look okay, and the manifold pressure, I think I want that at about 20. Now, one thing that I find that can be a challenge, at least for me, is to not chase that vertical speed bug. So, if I can keep the points of these on the white line, that looks like it's going to be street level. So, that's what I want to concentrate on when I do look at the instruments. Better yet, since I'm flying VFR, then the thing to do is to I don't have my keyboard died. Okay. Hold on a second, guys. I've got to get up and get a cable so I can charge my keyboard up. Okay, so I've got control of my keyboard back. Now let's see if I can get back on the line, find something to fly toward again. So, all right. Raise that, let that nose come up a little bit to get back in my cruise. One thing I seem to be having trouble with, and this is totally my fault, but knowing which way to bank to stay on that line. Okay, I think I got it now. Should have Burlington down there somewhere. Let's see, it's going to be on my passenger side, so to see it, I have to do this. Shoot. There we go. There it is. So, Burlington, not Vermont, but North Carolina. First class Delta airport. So yeah, I think I'm making really good speed. I'm at about 135 knots. I'm sorry, 135 miles per hour, and right at 115 knots, which is about right for this aircraft. I think solid 115 years cruise for it. Okay, so let's pull up a map here. We do have maps that we can kind of keep track of what we're doing. What I could do is parallel the highway down there. You can see the highway just up under this bar, strut. All right, so the cloud, they're doing that in it. Let's try flying toward that one. See if that helps us stay on track. And you guys can hear some rattling in the background. That's the chair that I'm sitting in. This rattles a little bit from the vibration of the aircraft, thanks to the butt kicker. So I'm feeling all kinds of vibration from the engine, which does add a degree of immersion. So yeah, I am sporting the butt kicker, and it's especially nice when I taxiing down the runway or on a takeoff run, and I can feel the bumps in the runway, doo-doo, and then as soon as I rotate and get airborne, everything just smooths out. Oh God, that's really a good feeling, guys. So yeah, butt kicker. All right, let's do a check here and make sure that everything is in the green, the pressure's in the green, or the temp is in the green, so my head is a little high, but in the green. Is it? Actually, I probably got too much of something going on. So where's my donut? Did I lose my donut? Yep, there's my donut way over there. And you can see that I lost the donut. Get lined up with this donut again. And let's see what we can do to get that. Pull that mixture out. Now, pulling out the mixture, I did see that the oil temperature went down a little bit. So, and I believe that's bringing down my silver head temp a little bit. And the clouds themselves get me moving. That's one thing about X-Plane 12, the clouds do move. With X-Plane 11, the clouds are stationary and you move. But in this sim, both can move. All right, so let's think about landing here. We are going to Lake Ridge, and I guess we still got a little bit to go before we are overly concerned about being too high. And let's see if we can see where RDU is at. Now it's too bad that I can't pull up a section in the avatar on the maps. Let's see, I want to go out a little bit. Better download from the internet. And Hillsboro, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. So I'm actually in my neck of the woods, so I got some idea where things are at, where I'm at. And I am making heavy use of the poor man's autopilot, constantly trimming and retrimming. One of the things that I'm hoping I can do is, let's say I need something to fly towards. Let's see, if we keep this screw in line with this guy here, then that should keep us on course. that's one thing I can say about Microsoft Flight Sim is when you fly VFR and you're trying to keep your head in the window and not on the instruments, then it's easier to find something to focus on. That's one of the reasons why people. That's one of the reasons why people have always said that X-plane is good for learning procedures. All right, so I want to keep that screw in line with keep this little area. This screw should stay in line, and that's keeping me on course. Okay, now I got to find a new target. I'm looking for a way to stay on course, some feature that I can fly toward. All right, so Lake Ridge CTAF is 122.9, so I'm going to put that in my backup. All right, and actually I should be on a departure frequency. I'm still on Greensboro's tower, so let's see if we can rectify that. Actually, I don't know what departure frequency is. Let's try 13205. I think it might work. All right, so let's make some corrections here. I corrected the wrong way. The map says still on Chapel Hill. So for long flights, cross country, the Maule may not be the ideal plane, but for getting out in the backcountry and just living life, you know, when you can fly around and you're not in the area, you're actually flying for the love of flying as opposed to flying for transportation. I don't know if you could beat an aircraft like the Maule or a Piper Club or the Carbon Club. You know, so again, you know, it just depends on what your mission is, on what's the best aircraft to suit you. So one thing that I'm looking for when I get close enough to Lake Ridge is a lake. Now see this lake here, but I know that is not the lake that I'm looking for. That's this piece of water here. The piece of water that I am going to be looking for at Lake Ridge. Let's see. Is, I think it may be, let's see. Yeah, I think this is it up here. Let's see, now this. You see, I'm in the Class Charlie airspace, but I'm not doing ATC. So, because this is already here. Trying to see if Lake Ridge will be on this map. Lake Ridge should be right up in here. And I put, you know what? I didn't put Lake Ridge in there. I'm flying to it. Bad. Okay, so that's why I'm so deep into the Charlie airspace. You know, I was wondering, why am I so deep in Charlie airspace? So this lake here is where I'm going. And let me go ahead and get down. So without referring to, let's just get back to on this guy. Yeah. So since this is my neck of the woods, I kind of know my way around. And I didn't know that the lake starts about up in here. So this has to be Interstate 85. And the airport should be just before the lake. It's actually between two bridges. There's one bridge there and there's a bridge there. So that's my airport. Okay, I'm descending at 1,200 feet. I mean, yeah, about 11 or 1,200 feet a minute. And pattern is 1,300. Let's see, now I want it to come in on, well, that makes a difference, but I come in on 1.4 or 3.2. So I guess we'll come in on 3.2. That'll put us closer towards the LBO. So what I want to do is come, see this little indentation, this little water here? I want to come directly over that to land. So, plus I want to give myself some time to get down. Actually, you know, let's do a proper airport entry. Let's you know, the 45. Since it's a sim, that's why instructors say that people who fly sims sometimes can be hard to train for real world operations, because getting these sims and we train ourselves to do what we want to do rather than to do what's right. All right, and doing what I want to do is exactly how I've trained myself in a lot of cases. So if I want 3.2, there's a way to enter the pattern that's correct. And it's called entering on the 45. Or, well, there are a couple different ways to enter, but the best way to enter is from 45 degrees. Um, so I am flying parallel to the lake at this point while I peel off some of this altitude. Thousand to go. So I get the pedal. Now let's see. Turn this guy off. And if you I was going to say if you look hard enough, you might be able to see the airport down there. But at this point, I'm not even sure I got the right bridge. Okay, so I see this. I'm looking for my little indentation. Yep, there's my little indentation. So yeah, that is the right bridge. So that's 85. And now I'm getting close. I can turn back towards the airport and come in on my 45. So the airport is on my nose. And of course, in real life, I'll probably make a traffic call. I'm about 5 or 6 miles out. Lake Ridge traffic. Maule is 6 miles inbound on the 45, runway 32, Lake Ridge. And my pattern now. All right. Put in a notch of flaps. Right. And now I can go ahead and turn downwind. Lake Ridge traffic. Maule is on downwind for runway 32, Lake Ridge. Now, actually, I should have said left downwind, but most people know it's a left pattern here. All right, so there are the hangars, and this is the runway. So yeah. This is the little area, pond area that I told you I need to fly over. Get trimmed up here because I am dropping. All right, another notch of flaps. And power there. All right, mixture prop. Lights. Gas, lights, undercarriage, mixture, props. All right, there's my runway. And probably could have extended my downwind, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw in 4 flaps because I am a little high. I got 3,200 feet, so got plenty of runway. And all right, round out here. We're down. Dance on them rudders. The brakes. Just a little brake. And thought I was going to miss this turn. And I didn't call Founder on the radio, but all right. Lake Ridge traffic. Maule M7 is clear to runway Lake Ridge. And clean up here. And I like to use flight to FLT to clean up, which is flaps, lights, landing lights can go back on to act as my taxi lights. And T is trim. So trim for takeoff. And of course transponder. I could just leave it at alternate, but I am gonna go ahead and stick it on standby since I'm at a non-towered airport here. And so I am part of, in fact, tomorrow I'll be at this airport for a fly-in. Of course, I won't be flying, but it's a fly-in for vintage aircraft, which is really cool. So I have a chance to go and look at some of the old vintage aircraft. Okay, so trying to taxi and judge where the runway is now. It's not modeled here, but right across from the flagpole, right up in here, is an FBO. The reason why the FBO is never modeled, I've come to realize in the Sims, is because it's the size of a house and there are trees over top of it. So from a satellite, sometimes it's really hard to see. Anyway, guys, let's get shut down here. We're gonna park right here and get our switches off. Now, in real life, there is no avionics switch. It's just that it's tied to avionics on the alpha yoke, so that's why it's working. All right, and turn this guy off and lean. Okay, and finally, turn the master off and all my other switches, and turn my fuel off. And of course, I would probably want to, in real life, I'd have checked the hops before and after the flight. Let's see, is there a hops on this model? Looking for a hops. So anyway, I don't see a hops. All right. So that just about does it. And the reason I say just about, because I would like to do an instant replay on the landing right quick. So hold tight. All right. So here we go. what was that? A little bouncy, bouncy there. Think I over, I was a little fast because I was a little high. If my speed had been on point, then the idea, ooh, just crashed. The idea was I wouldn't have had the energy to bounce. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed getting familiar with the Maule from VSKYLABS. And until next time.
Welcome back now, dear.